He was Thomas.
Okay, so that she was a Thomas.
Yeah, he was a minister. He was a Methodist preacher.
Uh-huh.
And Grandma Manuel's husband was.
What do you remember about her?
She was very good to us children. Paul was her favorite child out of the family.
Why was that?
Mm-hmm.
Why was that? Why do you think Paul was the favorite?
Well, when she worked someplace, she always brought something back and give it to Paul.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. She really did.
Really? Was Paul good at conning her or something? Or,
It was just her pick, the family, I guess.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who did any of the other parents have favorites? Were you the favorite of somebody? Your mother?
Yeah, she loved all of us, but Paul was her pick out of the family of children.
I heard she used to smoke a pipe.
She did smoke a pipe, old clay pipe. Put it in the fire and let it get red hot, and then.
Was that unusual for women to be smoking pipe?
That was the go along then for older people.
Yeah. What do you remember about your parents' parents? We have a picture of Amanda, so that is your mother's mother, right?
Yeah, I remember her very good, because I remember when she got sick, she smoked a pipe, and she bought this tobacco, and she parched it and put it in this pipe, and she got TB at the throat.
Ah.
That's what, and she couldn't swallow because she come home over the weekend from them white people's house, and she lacked potato pie, and she couldn't swallow it, and she'd go outside and spit it out. And I kept watching her. And that Sunday evening, she's going back down into the white folks' house, and I begged her not to go. And then we was all in the field, and the white people sent her back. She come walking through the field, coming back, and she got sick, and we got a doctor from Chesney, South Carolina, and that's when he said she had TB at the throat. And that's what she died of.
What about your father's parents? Do you know anything about them?
Yeah, I know his mother.
What was her name?
Julie Brown.
Julie Brown. And what was her husband's name?
I don't know who Grandma Julie's husband was. But anyway, she was a mean motor scooter.
Why is that?
Because she was just mean to us, seemed like. See, Mama would go to Limestone, they'd bring her down to Gaffney to the church and leave us there with Grandma Julie. And she would cook, and she wouldn't feed us till they come back, and they'd leave Mama down there with Cousin Forrest and Cousin Julia Brown, and Dad and them would ride all around Charlotte and everywhere. And the children was all hungry. I remember Newt. And I said, Newt, if you make a fire in the stove, I'll cook. So he did. And I went out in the garden and got some cabbage and cooked them, and some cornbread, and we had buttermilk. I fed the children. And then my grandmother said, I'm going to whoop your butt. And your daddy going to whoop you when he get home, too. 'Cause I cooked. And then I went out there to ask her, would she have some dinner with us? And what I want to do that for.
Why? What did she say then?
She grabbed me and threw me between her legs and pulled my little dress tail up and spanked me good.
Well, now, why do you think she wasn't feeding you? Because she was trying to save some food?
No, I guess that was her way. You gonna wait till your daddy and them come back.
Okay.
And she done cooked the dinner, you know.
Okay.
And the children, and then all of them was hungry. There was Jannie and Willie, and Newt made fine. Freeman and Paul was big boys, you know.
Well, who do you call him Newt? What was his real name?
James.
Okay. Why you call him Newt, though?
We just call him Newt for Short. That was his nickname.
Oh, okay. Where, you know where he got it from?
No.
What was your father like?
My father like.
Yeah. What kind
Oh,
of
he
man
was nice. He was nice. Mm-hmm.
Was he strict disciplinarian, or was he pretty
Yeah.
easy on the kids?
Yeah, he was strictly disciplinarian.
What does that mean? A lot of whippings were handed
Yeah.
out, or?
Yeah, he liked to get on to us sometimes.
Did any one of the kids get it more often than the other?
Oh no, not. I don't think no one got it no much more often than the other one did.
Do you remember anything that prompted him to come at you?
I remember we used to play ball a lot. And every time we play ball, Ethel would every time Ethel would start hollering. We'd play so long and then Ethel started hollering, and then he gonna whoop everybody.
Now, why would she start hollering?
I don't know. She somebody, they hit her with the ball.
Oh.
They hit me with the ball. Things like that, you know, call a lot of.
All right. So what kind of chores did you and the other kids do when you were growing up? Did you have to work in the field with your father and them, or?
Yeah, and then we would have to go to the spring and get our water. You know, we had to go a long ways to the spring to get the water, get enough water, you know, to last overnight and the next day.
What was life like doing that with sharecropping? Can you describe a typical day? What time of the morning would you get up, and what would you do during the day?
When we'd get up, we'd be in the field about 7 o'clock and wait till 12. Mama would come home and fix a little dinner, and we'd stay there till about 1 o'clock, and we'd go back and work till 6, hoeing cotton, picking cotton. And I remember Daddy promised to take us all to Spartanburg to a fair if you picked 200 pounds of cotton. He'd give us $1 to pick 200 pounds and 100 pounds. Then if you made us get 200, if you picked 200 pounds, he's gonna take us to the fair. But we never did get to go.
Yeah, well, I heard, you mean each person had to pick 200 pounds?
Yeah.
That's a lot of cotton, I hear. I heard a lot of people tell stories of trying to pick 100. Did you ever pick 100?
Yeah, he paid us to pick 100. Then he figured if we could pick the 100, we could pick that other 100.
But you never made it.
Yeah. I picked 200 pounds of cotton a minute day.
Oh, but he just never took you to the fair, though.
No, he never did. He just promised, but he didn't.
Okay. What do you remember about your father?
Well, he loved his booze.
Yeah, well, Ethel said he liked to drink a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't take no wood nickels. He always stood up for himself.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
Huh?
What do you mean? Give me an example.
He, you know, what I mean, he could take up for himself.
Okay.
If something started.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dad was okay, he was good, but he drank his whiskey.
He drank a lot?
Sometimes, but if he got drunk, he'd lay down and go to sleep and sleep it off. He didn't raise sand like, you know, a lot of people just get enough in them to show out. My father got killed.
Well, how did he die?
He got shot.
Shot by who?
Shot by a fellow named, he was biased. I forget now his name. I can't think his name. Saved my life. He got shot by him.
What prompted that? Do you know?
I really don't know what caused that. And I was in Roanoke at the time that he was shot. And I was in Roanoke with Fannie.
Right.
And we got a letter, we got a telegram. And she was reading it and telling us that he was dead, and we came back to Gaffney, to the funeral. After Daddy died, then Mr. George moved us down there next to Wilkinville School. We stayed there for 2 or 3 years, and Mama tried to farm, and B and Lillie, but wasn't nobody but B and me, Mama and B and Lillie, and then all the rest of them was gone. And Fannie bought a home uptown up there where we were living on Indian Hill, Leadmine Street. Fannie bought that little house, and we moved from down there uptown, and we lived there. That's where me and Mama was staying, and they'd all come home for Mother's Day and spend the weekend and go back. They leave Sunday morning or Monday morning and come back to Washington.
Yeah, my grandmother was very nice too. I broke her heart when I got married because I eloped instead of, letting her know anything about it. And she lived for a few years after I got married. I guess about 4 years, because I think you were about 2 when she died.
No, I doubt that. I think I was older, but go on.
And yeah, Bunny was 2, I think, when she died, because I remember Bunny was there, a little girl. So maybe you were about 5 or 6 or something when she passed away. But she was very nice, because I had been living with her, I think, since I was 8 months old. Aunt Fannie, well, I remember she used to come. She used to mostly be the one that would talk to me more about, everything of life that I should have known that I didn't know. My grandmother.
Facts of life, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And I liked her for that. And she would always, they would always, bring things for me and all that. And then sometime I would go get to visit them in the summertime for a week or 2 weeks. My grandmother and I would go visit them. Or sometime Aunt Esme and I would go and visit them.
Did your grandmother resemble Fannie the most?
I think Aunt Fannie does look more like her mother than any of them.
When were you born? Do you know the day and the year?
Yeah, March the 3rd, 22nd of March, the 3rd month, 22nd day, 1906.
Wow, 1906. All right. And you were the firstborn of Clara and George?
Clara and George Brown.
Okay. There were 11 kids altogether?
Uh-huh.
Okay. With you and the brothers and sisters, what was that like growing up with 11 kids?
Huh? What was it like?
What was it like growing up with 11 kids?
Well, we got along nicely for to be a family. Our brothers and sisters never had a fight and an argument or anything.
Were you the type to help them with their classwork?
Yeah, as best I could.
What was your favorite subject?
My favorite subject was reading.
Why is that? Why is that?
I just love to read. I read a lot now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the thing that you've enjoyed reading most? Do you have a favorite book?
Well, I read the Bible. I'll take some magazine and I'll read a Bible verse every morning.
So your favorite book is the
And
Bible?
one in the middle of the day and one at night at 9 o'clock.
So your favorite book is the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, we had to work hard on the farm. And then after we grew up and got grown, we each one went out on our own. I wanted to be a nurse when I came here. In fact, I take a nurse training for 6 months, but by me being a cook, well, the time that I'm supposed to be in class, I'm supposed to be cooking. So I had to give up the nurse. I wish now many times I had to take a nurse training.
Yeah. By the way, how did you wind up in Roanoke?
Huh?
How did you wind up working in Roanoke, Virginia?
A friend of mine had a job there and asked me, if she get one for me, would I come to Roanoke? And I came from Roanoke, Virginia to Washington. And I had a job already promised to me when I arrived here. I arrived here on Sunday, and the lady and her chauffeur picked me up on Monday morning, and I stayed there 20 years at this one family.
What's their name?
Cook, lawyer, Paul Sharp Jr.
Lawyer Paul Sharp Jr.?
Yeah. When I first started to work, I was saying, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am.
Oh, really?
And the lady I worked for told me, she said, you're out of the South now.
Oh, okay.
And said, I want you to say yes and no.
Was it kind of different from the Southern lifestyle you had?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How?
And they were very nice to me. I traveled with them from here to New England every year after school was out here in Washington.
Okay.
Lived in the house with them for 20 years.
Wow. What are your happiest memories of your family life?
Well, we was a religious family. My mother taught us.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Sunday school, Philadelphia Baptist Church, and I was quick to learn, and we had to say little memory verses, and each child that repeated a memory verse, they gave us a little gift.
And you're still a church-going
to
person
entice
today?
us children.
Yeah. And apparently you're still a church-going person today?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it about the church that is important to you?
Well, I just love to go to church and thank the Lord.
Or what is the one thing you've enjoyed most in your life so far?
Well, I love to travel, and I have did a lot of that. I enjoy it. So it's the old saying, I can say that I have been to some parts of the world.
How far have you gone from this area?
I have been to England.
Ah.
I've been to London. I've been to Paris.
Wow.
I've been to Philadelphia. I've been to Massachusetts. I've been to Bermuda.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've been to Bermuda.
I love to travel.
Reverend Nathaniel, I didn't talk about him. His uncle, he was a minister. He had a little, he bought a little farm up in Maysland in New Jersey. It advertised in I think in the Afro paper, you know, sometimes you see little advertisements for a little piece of land for sale, very reasonable. So I guess he was like me. I used to read clippings and send off for things. So he sent money and bought this little piece of land in Maysland, New Jersey. And he went there and he staked this little claim and built him a little house on it. And he and this lady that he was living with, was supposed to have been his wife at the time, lived there for years, and something happened that they broke up and he left, and she ended up staying there, and I guess she ended up getting the land because nobody bothered to get it. And he moved back to North Carolina and bought a little piece of land there and built him a home because my father and them helped him build it. A little 2-room, was it 2-room or 3-room? And he died some kind of accident as well. He got shot, or I don't know what was self-inflicted or someone else did it because he was locked up in the house at the time.
This is the Brown family, Sergeant Albert Brown, with his lovely wife, Ruby. I'm his grandson, the son of Bobby Brown. This is his great-grandson, Joel, great-granddaughter, Tiffany, and this is the daughter-in-law, Mildred Brown, who's married to Bobby Brown.
Yeah, Uncle Albert, when he was in service, he would always come home, and like I said, candy wasn't all that plentiful then. He would bring boxes of candy from service because he had a son, Bobby, and we were all around the same town. And sometimes Bobby lived with us, and my Uncle Albert would come home, and he would come to visit us, and he would always have a nice car too, and he would take us for a ride and give us money and stuff, and we enjoyed having our
When did they start calling him Sarge? Right after the war, during the war? What?
I think they always called him because he became sergeant service, you know, in the early years, and he's also retired from the Army, and everybody called him Sarge. So when he came home, the family and everybody just started calling him that too. So that's where he got the name Sarge from. Uncle Freeman used to live there in Gaffney, and he would come down and visit on weekends. And one time they took me to stay with them before I got married. And I was going to stay a whole week, and that Saturday I think I'd stayed till 3 days or all week except till we came to town on Saturday, and I saw my grandmother, and I would not go back. So I had to go. I was supposed to be coming home on Sunday, but I would not go back. I had to go home, so I went home Saturday night.
Now, why is it?
I had just never, stayed away from home, and when I saw them, I got so homesick. I cried anyway after I had, stayed overnight. I wanted to go home. Every day I wanted to go home, but, there was things to do during the day, and people around, and they spoiled me because they didn't have any children, and the people around them, everybody, would give me stuff. So, you enjoyed it until nighttime come, then you'd be ready to go to bed, and then you'd think about you wasn't home and you wanted to go home. So I cried a few nights, but I survived.
Yeah.
But when they took me to town on Saturday and I saw my grandmother, oh boy, I didn't go back.
This is Freeman and Newt, is that?
Freeman and Merritt.
Okay.
So
So he
I
was going
went
to try
home.
to keep you, but it didn't work out.
No, they just kept me for a week,
Freeman and Murd had 4,
What were their names?
huh?
Do you know what their names are?
Clara, Lucille, and Freeman Eugene, and let me see what is the baby girl was named. Libby. Her name was Elizabeth. We call her Libby.
All right, this is Baby Adam. This is my wife, Clara. This is my daughter, April. This is my daughter, Miss Rachel. This is my daughter, Denai. This is my grandson, Little Junior. Ann, Little Floyd, Mario, James, my son, Junior. My sister-in-law, Libby, and my brother-in-law, Earl. Jermaine.
Now, how is y'all related to the Brown family? I know Claire's Freeman Brown.
And I'm her husband. These are kids and grandkids. My sister and brother-in-law.
Okay, my mother's name Myrtle Brown. She's married to a husband named Freeman Brown, which both of them is deceased. This is my wife Audrey, my little daughter Unique, which is 8 months today, and my son Aaron. And I wish God bless all of us, and you too. I wish us many more days, sir. Thank you.
What's your name?
Thomas Brown. Yeah.
So, where did the boys go when they left?
Huh?
Where did the boys go to when they left? Where did they move off to?
They,
Did most of them stay down south?
no, all of them was left, come to Washington.
Why'd they go to Washington? Were they following Fannie?
And all they just, went where they could get a better job, Paul went up there, and then Margie went. Freeman, he stayed with Lyman Sparks up the Chesney Highway. He didn't go. And Newt, he got married and he moved up in Huntersville, North Carolina. Him and his wife. Newt went in service, and his wife stayed with us because Fannie Mae was born when they were living with us down there. Margaret, Newt's oldest daughter. And then Paul come to Washington, Marty come to Washington, and L.P. joined the service, and Paul went in service too. And they, and Newt was in service too. We had 3 brothers in the service at the same time, and they never did run into one another.
They were all in service, during World War II?
Second?
Second World War, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did any of them go overseas, or were they,
Mm-hmm.
were they here?
All of them went overseas. In the South Pacific, I remember hearing Eb said he was in one part of it and Paul was in the other part, but they never did.
Never did meet up, huh?
Uh-uh.
I remember they used to send us candy because at that time, candy wasn't very plentiful. And we used to get boxes of Baby Ruths or Almond Joys or Hershey's or something.
Who your father?
My father or my Uncle Everett, one or the other.
But see, Paul met Rosette, and she got pregnant and had that baby while she was working for them white folks, and she kept him out there in the little house where she stayed at. She'd go out there and feed him. And then the white lady, she brought him, when he was a baby, she brought him down there and put him on our porch and left him. And we, took him, and then Paul and Rosette got married.
What's BW stand for?
Bloomy. BW was on his mother's side. His mother was a Wood, Rosetta Wood, and the BW was for Bloomy. But he just go by BW.
This is my mother. My mother and my father were separated because when my father was in service when I was small. I guess I was about 8 months old. And my mother was living in Kannapolis, North Carolina. She and her sister wanted to buy a little house. So in order for them to do that, my mother wanted to go to work, and she didn't have a babysitter. So my grandmother had a couple of young girls at home. My Aunt Jannie and Aunt Ethel, I think, was still home. Aunt Janie and Aunt Issa Mae, rather. And they said, oh, we will take care of her, and we'll, keep her clean and all that. So my grandmother let her bring me to stay with them for a while till she could, find a babysitter. So I ended up staying with her until I got married when I was 18.
Well, what do you remember about Rosetta?
His wife?
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, she was good. She worked for them white folks, and they didn't want to pay her much money, yeah. She was a good lady, but she wanted to go back to work when Lillie and B was children, and she left them with us so she could work.
But when my father came out of service, he asked my mother if he and her sister didn't get along, so if she would, either put her sister out, he would come there and live with her in North Carolina, or either she could come to Washington and live with him. And she didn't do either, so they never lived together after he came out of service.
And when did she pass away?
She died in 1949 when I was about 10.
She died up in Kannapolis, North Carolina.
Kannapolis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I used to carry Lillie and B up there to see her when she was sick.
What was she sick from?
And she had TB, I think, because she coughed and they made her spit in a little old cup or something. And she told me, when you take them out of the hospital, take them home, give them a dose of castor oil or something, clean them out. We raised the children.
Okay. What was that like?
B and Lillie,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. They were wonderful children, never caused any trouble, huh?
No, only B just got to running around with the wrong crowd and didn't want to get no job.
Yeah.
But Lillie was good.
Yeah.
I had to get up in the morning and tie them bows on that hair for her to go to school. And when she's gonna graduate, her daddy was gonna send the money to get her gown. He didn't do it. And your daddy carried us he was going with Lillie, then he carried us over to Spartanburg, and I bought Lillie paid on her evening gown so she could go to the prom, and sent money by mail to pay for it, and then they went over there and got it.
I was living with my grandmother and my Aunt Ethel. So it was just the two of them around, and Aunt Ethel always got to know whoever. And my grandmother, he made himself known. He knew, they knew him. And he was kind of handy because, there was no man around the house, so if there needed, some chores to be done, like, chopping wood or doing things like that, he came in handy if something needed fixing or moving or something like that, He was always willing to do, so he was around, and that kind of helped. And he could drive. He drove his aunt's car, so, if we needed to go shopping or something, sometime he would take us, and that came in handy, too, so.
And Dean would come down there and sit. She'd sit and sit and sit. Me and Mama sat in the living room, watch TV. They sat in the kitchen. They had a heater in the kitchen. They'd sit in there and talk.
I don't know, he was always around. He drove the school bus. And I rode his school bus when I missed all the others, but I tried to catch the others most of the time to keep them being annoyed most of the time by him. Then he would go home and call me on the phone and watch me go to my neighbor's house to answer the telephone. And I would find out who it was, and I'd hang up and come back home. And he'd watch me go back home again, and then he'd come over, and he was there from the time he got out of school till time for you to go to bed.
Sounds like a rather strange fellow, don't you say?
He was always writing little notes.
What did the notes have to say?
All kind of little things. I didn't even save one of them, I don't think. That he loved me, all kind of little stuff, little. Sometimes it wasn't really that much or nothing. But just something to do.
So how long did all this go on?
For what? I guess I met him when I first moved up, 6th grade, 7th, 8th, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I guess we went together about 7 years, I guess, off and on.
7 years.
Yeah, I guess we knew each other 7 years before we got married.
Yeah, he had a coat, but you see, O.D., he drove the school bus.
Okay.
And he got money, He let her keep his, when he get paid, he let her keep the money.
Okay.
And so she thought, Lillie was always a crybaby, though, when she was, because she figured, and we'd give her money so she'd hush crying, so
Okay.
get her quiet. And she thought, and Dean would come, and Mary and them lived up there above us. Ellery and them would tell Lillie to come up there. Dean would come up to their house and want Lillie to come up there. And I told her, I said, tell him her aunt will be up there. I went up the fence, and O.D. just flew.
So they would sneak around a little bit.
Yeah.
You grew up apart from your father, pretty much. You didn't spend a lot of time together.
No, I didn't spend too much time with my father, nor my mother. I really didn't get to know either one of them too well. I knew my father a little better because he used to come, visit on holidays after my mother had passed away when I got older. But my mother died when I was 10, so I really didn't get to know her at all.
When Paul come out of service, he was stationed in Columbia, South Carolina. He met a woman named Martha, and she had 2 children, a boy and a girl, Paulitha and Paul Jr.
Now, what happened? Where did Velma come into the picture?
Well, after my father went to Washington, he met several other people that he would bring to visit. When he'd come to see us again, he finally married Velma, and she had a daughter, Virginia, and she has 4 children. So she became my stepmother, and after my mother died.
At your father's funeral, by the way, what went through your mind?
Well, that I wouldn't, be able to see him anymore. That was what I really thought about at the funeral at the last minute. Because, although I didn't spend very much of my life with him, just knowing that he was there somewhere, and I could go see him, or I could call him, or he sometime would come see me, it leaves an emptiness in your life.
I was born in Gaffney, South Carolina, down there, right off behind Limestone Baptist Church. There was a little old house down there. And when we moved from Gaffney, we went to Thiggity down there. And I remember I was a little girl and we went in a buggy because I made a little song, say I froze in the buggy one day going down there to that other place where we lived at.
You said you made a song?
Yeah, I froze in the buggy one day.
Can you sing it?
Yeah, I froze in the buggy one day. I froze in the buggy one day.
That's it? That's all you, that was the only word in the song?
Yeah, I just got that because I was so cold.
All right. So tell me a little bit more about childhood, growing up in South Carolina. What was that like?
It was okay. Yeah.
You got any childhood stories you can share about your brothers and sisters?
Yeah, we had to go tote water when we lived down the Thiggity, and an airplane come over and somebody jumped out on the parachute. We didn't know what it was. We threw the buckets of water down and run.
Aunt Ethel was always home. She never married, and she lived with her mother, and she was mostly there with me. And when I grew up, she was just really more of a mother to me than any of them because she was always there, and she bought for me and provided for me and did for me and took care of me. And when I got married and moved away, whenever I got sick or something, she always came and took care of my family. So my kids think of her as the grandmother that, you know, that they don't have on my father's side. Because whenever Mama got sick, Aunt Ethel always came and took care of us.
What do you remember most about the family that you enjoy?
Well, I took care of all SMA's children, her 6, while she worked. And then when her children got married, when Tricia got married and had children, I took care of her children and helped raise them.
So you've become kind of the caretaker of the family.
No, I was the nanny.
That's right, the generations of children.
And then when Vivian, I took care of Vivian's 2 children till they got in school. And I kept Larry and Francis' boy, Junior, and Lamar and Junior was babies together. Lamar was a baby and Junior was walking. And I took care of them till when I become 60 years old, I told Vivian I was gone. I wasn't gonna babysit no more.
At that point you figure you should retire from
babysit.
Okay.
Yeah, and Junior, he's a Larry Williams Jr., Larry Francis boy. He'll come to see me. He give me a trip down to Texas to see Tricia. We flew down there in the airplane, me and him and his son. And I kept Donna and Ankie and George. Why, see, Tricia's grandchildren live with Rev and SMA, and I kept them while SMA worked.
So the family wouldn't exist if it didn't, if you weren't around to sort of keep a lot of the children.
And I took care of Mother, and waited on her, went and waited on SMA when she's sick. And when Fannie went in the hospital and come home, I took care of her. And now I'm taking care of this sister, so I feel like that's what the good Lord let me live to be here to.
Well, that's your role apparently, yeah. And, we're grateful for it. Is there anything is there anything you wish you did with your life that you haven't done, or in your life?
No, I could have got married one time, but mother said every time a guy asks you to marry me, he don't mean it. So, and so, and then my sister, she broke up with her husband. She got a divorce, and he got a divorce, and after I worked a while, and then I got to join this aid. I ain't keeping up no guy, no guy. So I was better off without him. I see so much marriage breaking up and people fighting and going on. I just wasn't going to be bothered with that.
So that's the only thing. Perhaps you might have gotten married.
Yeah, but the guy that what I loved, he was younger than me, and I know that I was going to get old someday, and I couldn't follow that guy around. I'd kill him, so I just let him.
What was his name? What's his name? Is he still alive?
His name was J.E.
J.E.?
Little John.
Little John. J.E. Little John?
Mm-hmm.
Was he a relationship to
No,
Reverend?
there's different Little Johns.
Newt, who's that?
That's my uncle to my
What's the real
father's
name?
brother, James. He was nice. He was always, they lived, a few towns away, so they would come visit once in a while, maybe sometime 3 or 4 months, or, Mother's Day and Christmas or Easter, something like that, holidays, they'll come by.
Let's see. Then there's James. James had some kids.
Who?
James. Did we already go over James's kid?
James.
Newt. His children.
Yeah, Newt and Margaret had Fannie Mae, Margaret Jane, Annie, and the boy. I forgot what was his name.
We are the family of Clara Brown's son, James Edward Brown, better known as Newt. This is his wife, Margaret Adams Brown, and I am Fannie Brown Harvell, the oldest daughter of Margaret and James. This is my husband, Buford Harvell, and we brought with us our 2 children, daughter Anita Harvell, son Vernon Harvell, and we have 1 little grandson. Vernon's son, Vernon Harvell Jr. James and Margaret had a second daughter, Annie. Annie married Willie Nance Jr. Annie could not come today, but her daughter, Wilhelmina Nance, is here, and she brought with her her son, Elgin, and her daughter, Nia. Annie also had a son, Jimmy Nance. He's not here today, but his son, Jay Sean, is here. This is Jay Sean. The Harvells also brought a niece on the Harvell side. Her name is Jennifer Harvell, and Jennifer brought with her her baby, Deja Harvell. She's the first cousin of Anita and Vernon Harvell. These are the descendants of James and Margaret Brown.
We're all gathered here, one, that's fine, to celebrate the Browns reuniting, and just as importantly, Janie's birthday. So, which birthday is it, maybe? 70. You don't have to.
90. No, maybe you have to pull out my
yeah, so can we all join in and sing happy birthday, Nate? Happy birthday
always the pretty one. I don't know, she always had a pretty smile and pretty teeth, and she dressed her hair so nice and everything, and she was shorter than any of them. Her mother was kind of short. Maybe she was about the height of her mother, but she always seemed to be so different from all the others. And she never had any children, so she always spoiled all of us kids, so he loved her because she would always do, you know, and she'd play with us and all that. So I don't know, we just seemed like she was more like us and, you know, like the children, because some of, you know, adults didn't care that much for children, so we always thought Aunt Jannie, you know, was really the best like for the children.
What did you do when you were a girl? What did you have chores? Did you?
Well, I went to school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did all the brothers and sisters go to school, or did some of them?
Yeah, they all went to school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of them went to school.
How far did you go in school?
Well, I guess I probably dropped out in about the 8th grade.
Okay.
Mm.
How does that compare to your brothers and sisters?
Well, some of them went on a little further. Fannie, she went to the 11th grade. Mm-hmm. And I don't think none of them went any higher.
With all the kids, did each kid have special duties or chores or anything to do? Did you have anything?
Yeah, we had special things to do, like I didn't milk. I couldn't milk.
Why is that? Why is that?
I never could milk no cow.
Why not?
To later, I learned to milk.
All right.
Mm.
So it wasn't something you enjoyed doing.
No, I just didn't know how.
Okay.
And finally, I took it up from Ethel and learned how to milk. Mm-hmm.
Ethel taught you how to milk.
Yeah.
Good.
So I learned how to milk after such a long time.
Why is that?
Yeah, 'cause the white lady teach me and then I teach Jane.
Uh-huh. Is it hard to learn how to do that, to milk?
Huh?
Is it hard to learn how to milk?
No, it was all right till the cow didn't switch the tail and kick you over, you know, make you turn over the milk.
Uh-huh.
I could set that bucket down and milk with both hands.
Compared to what we have now, though, is there anything now you remember that you didn't have back then that is a lot easier now? For instance, like, was your bathroom in your house, or was it outside?
Let me see. No, bathroom wasn't in the house.
Uh-huh. What was that
It was
like?
outside.
Yeah, what was that like, especially with all the kids?
Well, it was all right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was outside.
Okay.
I don't know when I decided to come to Washington.
Uh-huh. Well, who was the first one to come to Washington?
I don't know who the first one came to Washington. I first went to Roanoke. Fannie was working in Roanoke.
Okay.
And I went to Roanoke to get away from the house.
Uh-huh.
And I stayed there and worked in Roanoke there for a while.
Uh-huh.
And then the next thing I know, we came to Washington.
Fannie came first?
Yeah, Fannie came to Washington first.
Did she come here for a job or a husband or what?
Oh, she came here for a job. She had a job here, and she came here for a job. Yeah, Jannie got in trouble in Gaffney. This old guy kept following. She cut him. She made a little time, and then after she come out, Fannie got her a job in Roanoke, Virginia.
Well, I think the way I was told that some guy that she used to go out with, she was dancing, and this guy came over and picking at her or something. I don't forgot now. I wasn't even home now.
Right.
I'm just going by what's been told to me.
Right. And she had to shoo him away.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. He was all right, though. He didn't...
Yeah.
He survived. Yeah.
He was all right. It wouldn't have been anything to it if it hadn't been his mother. I think his mother rushed it. And Jannie would have to, pay for it.
How long did she stay in?
I think she stayed 3 months.
So what about yourself? When did you get married?
Well, I got married in 1958. In fact, I had been married before.
All right. Tell me what year did you get married the first time?
I got married in 1942. That was the first time I got married.
What were their names?
Watkins.
Give me the full name, the first.
Benny Watkins.
Fannie Watkins?
Yeah, I married a Benny Watkins.
Was that 42?
That was 42.
Where'd you get married at?
I got married here in Washington. We lived together, and then he wanted me to go to Indiana, and he went back to Indiana, and
Is that where his people are from?
yeah, and so he sent for me, so I went up there to live.
You lived in Indiana? Where?
In Dayton, Ohio. I meant in Richmond, Indiana.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened?
Well, that's where we got a divorce in Richmond, in Dayton, and Richmond, Indiana.
Couldn't get along together?
Huh?
You couldn't get along?
No, we broke it up. That was about 51.
You never had any children?
No, we didn't have any children. We got divorced, and then I came back to Washington. I think in 51. And I stayed here until 58, and then I got married again.
And what was this fellow's name?
His name was Charles Martin.
What's the thing you like doing most? I know you played bingo.
Oh, I used to go bingo every night.
What got you into bingo? How'd that start?
I don't know how that got started, but I used to go to bingo every night. Every night.
Did you win a lot, or is it just the fun of being there?
I'd win and I'd lose and I'd win. Cause when I come home, I was looking through something in there, and I found $100, and I got to thinking. I said, well, I'll look in this other place I had kept money. I looked in there and I found $50 in there. I don't know what, but that money been in this house all that time, and I didn't know it.
But you like going to bingo. What is it about bingo you like?
Just something I like about it, but I don't know. I haven't got to feel about going to bingo no more.
Oh, not since the operation yet?
No, not since I've been back from the hospital and back from down there to 33. I haven't given bingo much thought.
Yeah. You like pictures. You got pictures all over your wall.
Oh, I love pictures. I like to make pictures. I got pictures. I got a camera. Yeah, I make pictures and bring pictures home. I got pictures in the back bedroom. In the back room in there.
So now, why do you like pictures so much? You like to keep them, especially of the family.
I just like pictures of the family. And when I go different places, I carry my camera and I got film and got pictures, stuff to make pictures. I make pictures.
Is there what's the strongest memory in your life that you can think of? What will you always remember and be happy you experienced?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many things I remember.
You can give me more than one.
I just remember that at Christmas times. I always remember those.
Christmas times in South Carolina?
Christmas time in South Carolina, Christmas times here.
Yeah, you just enjoy Christmas?
I enjoy Christmas. Yeah. And I used to see the time I used to buy all of these kids, nieces and things, Christmas presents. I got so that I just kept spending my money. I quit spending my money.
Yeah, well, you got so many of them, that could be a pretty expensive undertaking.
Yeah, it was an expensive undertaking. Yeah.
Well, they all appreciate it.
All
right.
Yeah, I really appreciate all the nice things that they do for me now.
Willie?
My Uncle Willie, I only got to see him. He was never really living at home too much. I knew him when I was younger. They were home when they were growing up, bigger boys, and then they left home. And he got married and moved to Washington, and they would always come home on holidays like Christmas, and in the summertime they would come home for something. Christmas and Mother's Day, I think they would come home. And he would always come home in a new car, different car every time he'd come. We'd always look forward to that. He would take us for a ride in his nice new car, and we'd look for Uncle Willie to come and he would give us money or something, and everybody thought he was so nice. And I seemed to like all my uncles and aunts and things. Uncle Margie is my father's youngest brother, the baby boy, and he was always home too when I was growing up, because we lived on a farm, and he was there doing the farming and helping his mother. And I became very close to him because I kind of, you know, looked to him as a father, because he was always around most of the time when I was young, and he helped discipline me when, you know, I didn't do what I should do.
Once upon a time, I met a girl that I thought was another girl. And she had to convince me that she was not the other girl. In 1945, when I was discharged from the military after the war was over, I came home and my brother Freeman and I was together. We came downtown and she and about two more of her friends was down. We call that the strip now. We called it something else back then, but it was down there where I met her. And Freeman, her brother, who is deceased, said to me, I want you to meet my sister. And I looked and I said, Jannie Brown. She said, I'm not Jannie Brown. I said, I'm S.M.A. I said, you can't fool me, Jannie. I said, I know Jannie Brown. You are Jannie Brown. She said, no, I'm S.M.A. Freeman said, yeah, that's S.M.A. That's my baby sister. We talked. All six of us got in a taxi that day and went to Spartanburg. And she said she had never seen somebody who would go into a restaurant and order chicken gizzard sandwich.
Well, S.M.A. is my father's baby sister, and she's also my godmother, because when I was growing up, she was home, and, you know, she bought for me and took care of me, you know, especially on holidays and things. She would buy me outfits and get my hair done or do my hair herself or whatever.
What kind of lady is she? What kind of lady was she?
She was very nice. She had a daughter, too, and we kind of grew up together.
About Patricia?
Patricia. And then she got married, and she had four more kids, because she got 5 kids in all. And, you know, I was very close to her children and her, and we call one of the sisters and brothers, and most people think we are. They don't really know us because we all, you know, so close together and grew up together.
She was a good woman. She was a whole lot better than I am. She was a good woman. I just think I'm good, but she was good. She had to be good to stay with me. There is no way that she could have stayed with me without being good. I didn't mistreat her. I didn't beat her or nothing like that. But she had to be good to stay with me. And I tried to do everything that I could to provide for her and make her happy. The only fault that she said that she really had of me, even though I tried to make her happy by giving her things, she said I didn't tell her I loved her enough. She said, I just like for you to tell me you love me. Even if you have to lie about it. She said, because it makes me feel good. You love me.
Mommy. Hot. I'll get a 10.
Okay, pulling tight now.
You're blocking each other here on the right.
Here we go.
I will take it to work.
Bob, you took it already.
Fancy,
You gotta wait a little
fancy.
bit.
I just went time.
I'm anxious.
Now, wait, Essence, you were recently expelled from school for dressing the way you dress. Is that right?
I wasn't expelled from school for dressing the way I dress.
What were you expelled from school for then?
For fighting.
For fighting?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Well, for what else?
I was sent home for school for the way this dress I had on. See, you know, the teacher, his mouth was so far to the ground he can't pick it back up, so they thought it was a dangerous tablet.
Wait a minute.
This is Ivana Guyton, 12 years old. This is my niece. This is Ken. We call him Baby Shaq. This little Shaquille O'Neal right here. This is Trisha, my mama, Trisha Kennison. This is Kendra. This is my nephew. This is my sister's son. And I'm George, the master of the family. I run everything. Yeah. You got any questions, you got to come through me and see me before you get to them. Okay, take a picture.
That's all right. Is the family an important thing to you? I guess so, considering how much you've done for your family and the children of your brothers and sisters.
Yeah. And my brother's children and all. And
when you're gone, years from now, and maybe some of those nieces and other kids might get a chance to see this, what do you want them to know about you?
I want them to say something good about me. Say my Aunt Ethel was a good woman.
And what is good about you that you'd like them to remember?
'Cause I treated them all nice and was kind to them and everything. And I think a lot of them, I love all of my nieces and nephews and their children. And I want them to remember me.
We're getting on television. What are you looking at?